Hi, my name is Rose, and today I'm going to be talking about Emily Dickinson. Emily Dickinson is now one of our best American poets out there, just so you guys know. She was born December 10th in 1830 in Amherst, Massachusetts, with her family. She lived there with her family in the home in Amherst. Basically, her siblings and her dad and her mom. Okay. One of the things I want to get into is about Emily's writing. Emily wrote mostly about loss, death, love, faith, hope, nature, basically everything that has to do with the world. Emily was very an observant person. She loved writing. She loved just sitting in her corner in the room and just writing all these thousands and millions of poems that are now published. Talking about published, one of the things that you need to know about Emily, she never really intended to be published. She was very much afraid, actually. She was actually very afraid of being published due to the fact that she never knew what people were going to think about her poems. She mostly shared her poems with her sister-in-law, Susan Gilbert. She shared some of her poetry with her family and some of her friends in the area. Actually, some of her poems were published anonymously. Like, I guess some of her friends and family just like snatched a copy or were given one and they just published it. So you're gonna see some of her poetries in some of the old newspapers where we're like journals or like those like the day newspapers. In that little side corner you could see some of Emily's poems. Not all of them were published, just little tiny ones, and they were, again, like I said, anonymous. One thing about Emily's poems is that a lot of people don't understand them. Nobody understood her writing. Nobody understood what they were about, who they were about, like nothing. Emily's writings were basically just hard to even read. Some people say she did that purposely as to just getting the reader to feel the poems. Like, she wanted the reader to just like feel, basically, emotion wise. She never really wanted people to understand them. She just wanted them to read them and just like feel what she wrote, basically. One of the things about Emily's poems as well, her writing, there were very few writing ways. Like, she would like not do punctuation very well. She didn't do that. It was rare if you saw her poetry. She did a lot of scratches when she wrote. She wrote in like tiny little scrap papers that she found around her home. That is actually true. All her poems are written in little label things and little scrap papers that people throw away. She found them around the house and she collected them and she wrote around them. So they're a little bit messy. I actually have a book here that shows the little scrap papers of her writing. As you can see right here, there's some of the scrapping. It's literally, she would like write basically on those scrap papers, and it was just insane that she would do that because it was such a small writing. But also she would like constantly just try to fit the poem. Sometimes she would write like 2 lines in one side and then the rest in the other. It was basically a whole mess. In reality, she wanted the reader to basically step out of society and see and feel things that are basically not there. Like, that's how she really wanted that. It was something that she really wanted. She wanted people to just like, again, read her poems and just feel everything, feel the little lines that she wrote. Like, she just really did that. And you know, most of her poems are basically about that, just feeling, just all the stuff that she shared, basically every little thing here and there. I would actually want to read one just so you guys see what I'm trying to say. Let me see if I can find one. So before I even share one, here's a little reference of what I'm talking about. She would constantly, like, as you can see, she would scratch out. She would put all these dashes in. There was basically no commas, no punctuation. Like, she was just like writing, and she would use dashes as a way to like pause or as a way to like separate the message and to make the poem to have sense. You know what I mean? She did that a lot in her poetry, which was kind of annoying, which made it very, Annoying meaning that it was very difficult for people to actually just read it because you never knew what it really was about. So here's one. One note from one bird is better than a million words a scabbard needs has holds, but one sword. So basically, if I read you this right now, you'd be like, what is it about? But a lot of people don't know what it's about. Like, some people just write her poetry and share it with the world and just, like, expect the reader to know. And that's one of the things that, like I said, a lot of people have shared that Emily did that on purpose. To just grab the reader's attention, to kind of, like, just feel what she felt, basically. That's what really Emily wanted with her poems. Like, all these little poem books that you see right here, they're all hers. And these are actually available. One thing that you have to know is that Emily, like I said, Emily really didn't want to be published. It was kind of actually fate. Like, it was just kind of just up to somebody to actually do this kind of thing. Her sister Lavinia, after Emily passed away, found a box full of thousands, millions of poetry that Emily wrote during her lifetime. And her sister did really get to think about it, because Emily did share that she didn't want her poetry to be published. She didn't want them to be shared, and she told her sister, if you ever find my poems, burn them, throw them away, get rid of them. And Lavinia didn't do that. I guess you could say that her sister wanted people to know who Emily was. She wanted to share what Emily wrote, what she felt, what she saw. You know, at some point in Emily's life, she got to actually write a lot about the war at that time. She got to write about the loss, and she was really never there. But those poems, they were insane, because you really got to feel, you got to literally just put yourself in that position, in that soldier's position, and just feel like the loss, the pain, the sadness, the scare. Like, you got to feel every little thing here and there. And that's what Emily did with her poems. And, you know, it might have been kind of annoying just to, like, do these things that she's doing, which is, like, the dashes. She was never pausing. Her punctuation was off. She didn't make sense. But in reality, she just spoke about feeling. And that's one thing that a lot of people need to know about it. Like I said, this is literally all her poems. Me, as a reader, getting to read her poetry, I did see a lot of sadness. Due to the fact that Emily really got to grab me as a reader and feel her pain through the world, she got me to feel her happiness, her faith, her hope, her everything, basically. Her writing made literally people obsessed with her books. Like, yeah, she just went ahead and did it. And I could say that it's kind of disappointing, though, because sometimes, like I said, you never know what to expect. Like, you never know what you're gonna read, because at the end of the day, it's like very messy, but in a good way, because you do get to have certain sentences where you're gonna read about the feeling, about what she was writing about. You're gonna find it here and there. It might be hard at first, but if you reread them constantly, and if you go back and here and there, and if you find little keys and stuff like that, you're going to find something. You're going to actually find little clues, even though she never did give any hints as to what it was about. But she should have, because honestly, it's kind of messy, but it is what it is. Yeah, no. Emily was really good, and she still is. She's one of our best poets out there. One thing about Emily is that when I do speak about her, a lot of people don't know who she is, which is kind of mesmerizing. It's kind of not mesmerizing. It's kind of like sad, because her poems are like more than that, actually. Like, there's something that you guys need to know, because at the end of the day, she is one of the best American poets out there, like other people. And one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about her and wanted to write about her, and I do that like daily basis, actually. I do talk about her constantly, about her writings, but I do it because, like I said, a lot of people don't know who she is. a lot of people don't know what Emily was or who she was or what she did in her writings, which is kind of sad. And if you don't know any female poets, especially her, then you need to start writing. You need to start reading. You need to start digging in. Use your computers, use this and that to find out who she was, because she was something really good. And yeah, no. It's kind of sad to see that a lot of people don't know who she is. And if they do know who she was, it'd be like, she was very depressing, she was very antisocial, she'd never do anything, she never came out. But was she really? No. Because these poems say more than that. Her poetry say more than just sadness, say more than just depressing and antisocial. It actually says a lot. It says a lot about her. She didn't only like to write as well, she liked to plant, and she had her like own garden outside, and she got to actually make a book. And most of her poems are actually also about flowers and the inspiration of flowers. As you can see, there's one right here, which is Emily's gardening field. It's just, she just did poetry. Here's just like little informations and little things here and there about her and the things that she did. Basically, she loved to garden, and some of her poems are also about flowers, and it's very nice. So this one says, so build the hillocks gaily, though little spade of mine, leaving nooks for daisies and for columbine. So that's one of the poems that she did about daisies, as she wrote. She also liked to press the flowers. She liked to save them as well. It was very nice. So this actually does say a lot about her. So yeah, I just wanted to share that a little bit, because like I said, it's kind of sad to just hear people say, no, I don't know who Emily Dickinson is. Well, now you know a little bit about her. And if by the end of this video you're interested in knowing more about her, there's millions of websites, there's millions of books out there about her poetry. This is like a few of them. I'm trying to collect more, but these are some few of them and what they are. Especially this one. I like this one when I got it, because I just got to see the authenticity. I got to see basically her actual writing skills. It's like, you get to see the scraps, you get to see how she actually wrote them, where she wrote these, her punctuation, which is again messy. But no, it's kind of nice. And there's also a museum of her house where you can actually go in Amherst. Her house is still there, and some people took upon the house to make it as a museum, and you can see some of her writings. They sell some of the books. They share about the history, about the house, about her family, about a lot of things. So if you are really interested about it, you can go ahead and Google and search everything, or you can also go to Amherst and just do that, which I'm gonna be going, because like I said, I'm obsessed and I love this woman more than anything. Her poetry has made me feel things here and there that no other book will ever make me feel. And trust me, I've read so many books, but yeah, no, I gotta say, like, poetry wise, Emily's are the best, because even though they're hard to understand, it makes you want to come back and reread them and try to figure them out, trying to find a little message, find the little things here and there. But yeah, no, that's what Emily does. Emily's poems does, like, they just want you to come back no matter what. Her writing, the style of writing that she did, it was just good, messy, and it was just her writing, just like everybody else's. But like I said, just a little bit about her and who she was, and basically mostly about her writing. Just little things that you should know about her if you ever want to search it up. But yeah, there's a lot of information out there. So yeah, that's a little bit. So thank you. I hope this was good for everybody out there, and hope you guys are interested about Emily. So yeah, bye.